Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome in for another episode of Spirit Speakeasy. I have something really fun for us today, something a little different. I have a guest, but it's not an interview. It is going to be my dear friend Rhonda, who has agreed to come on and share all about our New York trip. She is the friend that you heard me talk about last week that I invited on this trip to New York, who was able to go. She is a fellow medium, psychic, tarot reader, healer. She's an incredible soul. She is a near and dear personal friend of mine. So if you have been on my social media for any length of time, you've definitely seen her before. And if you're on my social media now, joyfulmedium.com, over this last week, you will have been seeing the evidence of our escapades. But I just kind of got inspired yesterday while I was sitting here. We're recording this on Thursday. We got home on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, while I was regrouping and answering emails, I thought maybe you guys would like to hear a little bit from both of us about not only our trip and what we did, but as mediums, when we're together, sometimes the energy is supercharged or synchronicities show up in a different way, or our energy can kind of sync up and I can feel things she's feeling, she can feel things I'm feeling, our energy affects each other. So I just thought maybe it would be really fun. You guys really loved the share last week. It seemed like I got a lot of great feedback from all of you. So thank you for that. I do move and grow with your feedback, and I'm always wanting to tailor and weave in things that you're wanting to hear about. So I will link all of Rhonda's contact points in the show notes. Again, she's an incredible medium in her own right, and she does a lot of really cool lives, especially on TikTok, where she'll do live readings, both tarot and mediumship. So you are going to want to follow her on all the places, and I will link all of that in the show notes. But for now, without further ado, let me introduce you to my dear friend and fellow medium, Rhonda Thorpe. Welcome in, everyone. I am so excited to introduce to you my friend and travel companion, Rhonda Thorpe. Thanks for being here with us today. I think maybe we should start just by giving a quick overview of like our friendship, and then we'll dive into the trip. And I kind of just, my inspiration was thinking that, you know, I know we have our own unique experience as mediums and sensitives. And when two of us get together, often kooky things happen. And for me, I don't know, I'll speak for myself, maybe for you too. Sometimes it's just such a natural part of how our lives go that I don't really ever think of it as maybe weird or strange, but I realize maybe it is.
Well, I definitely realized on this trip how connected we are and how much we pick up each other's energy and how easily things seem to be more aligned when we're together on this trip and traveling. It was a lot of fun. So
that was really cool. And then I noticed also I think a lot of friends do this maybe if you're kind of vibing at the same, I don't know, energy in the moment. We could kind of almost like share thoughts or tune into the same thoughts and not have to like say it out loud, which was also kind of fun.
It was fun. Yeah. And yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we have been friends for about 5 years, maybe. Is that right? I'm really bad at that part.
Almost 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. We've spent a good amount of time together, but we've never traveled together. And I don't know about you, but I feel like to like travel with someone and spend, first of all, a really long time on an airplane and then several days together, 24/7, like that's a special friend.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we were together like the entire time, I think. I don't know if we had any moments separate. Which
barely, I think.
Lovely. Barely.
Maybe a couple bathroom breaks or something. Which, you know, I think we both rolled the dice on it. And I'm super grateful that you were able to come.
Too.
So I know I just mentioned in the intro that you are my friend who I called and asked if you could come to New York with me, and you did, which was amazing. Now, you even really, I want to say like credit to you because you really rolled the dice, because the promoter that I went out there for to do this like wrestling signing event, I had not met or worked with before. So we kind of on many levels didn't know exactly what we were getting into, but even in the planning of it, that's one thing I forgot was that you and I had kind of pre-selected the same hotel, and when we were giving hotel suggestions, you were like, oh my gosh, that's on my list too, which did turn out to be like It was
So
shout out to
good.
Broadway Plaza Hotel, a really gorgeous
It was so
hotel
good.
in such a good
Yeah.
location.
It was such a hidden gem and like so much going on in that area. And it was like this small, cute little boutique hotel with perfect beds and space and outdoor space and like couldn't have been better for sure.
Yeah, and I mean in New York, there's a million
Yeah.
hotels. So even just for us to kind of from all the areas we were looking at to
Hmm.
select down to in our very short, I think I had 3 on my list and I think you only had a
Yeah.
couple on your list
Yeah.
too.
Hmm.
So already it was starting out in like a cool and interesting way. And
Yes.
then I actually think I had booked it and then you said you can come and had to like make sure we had matching flights and everything really just
It worked out. We were in the
worked
same
out.
row together, even though we booked separately and days apart. I was able to sit in the same row as you. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so we really just
Hmm.
lucked out from the
Hmm.
start. And then when we got to the airport, things were pretty smooth, I think,
Really
on that
smooth.
first
Yeah.
flight.
Hmm.
The landing was much smoother than I expected.
Yeah.
And a weird little detail about this trip is because we were flying from San Diego into New York, the only way for us to get a direct flight is to go to JFK, but
Hmm.
really we were needing to leave from LaGuardia. So we had to make our way from JFK to LaGuardia, which is just like a weird little extra
Yeah.
detail leg of our trip.
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but if I could get it, really prefer a direct flight, especially coast to
Yeah.
coast. So even that worked out. It seemed like we were a little turned around. There's a lot of construction at that airport. So
Lots. Yeah.
trying to find a cab was almost like, I don't know, we were following each other and neither one of us knew where we were going.
Hmm.
But once we got out there, it was just jumped into a cab right away. Even that was, I
Yeah.
think, pretty smooth part of it.
Definitely.
So we got to the hotel, the very first hotel. And because I had booked it, I wasn't sure you were going to be able to go. And so I had to book it. And the way I booked it, so ridiculous. I think you let me know like 5 minutes after I had booked it. And
Yeah.
the way I clicked it was only one bed. And we were like, I mean, we would have shared a bed, but I was like, okay, ideally we could get
Hmm.
2 beds so I don't kick you all night. And even that was like a
Hmm.
non-issue. And before I left, I had called the hotel. I had called the 800
Hmm.
main number and they were like, I just kept hitting wall after wall after wall. And so we had kind of put the energy out there to like,
Hmm.
hey,
Like
could
this
we have
might
some help with
happen.
this? Yeah, exactly. And it was just like totally not an
Hmm.
issue, even that.
Not at all. Yeah.
And then the next morning when we came out and saw the promoter, and it's a cool little company, Premier Signatures is what they're called. Shout out to them. And it is a really cool guy and his 2 sisters, and they
Hmm.
were like youthful and easygoing and fun. So even that was for me anyway, like a an unexpected pleasant surprise, I
Like a
guess.
treat. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought so too. They all felt very comfortable,
right.
to be around and welcoming. So,
And you kind of never know what you're going to
hmm,
get. So even that was
yeah.
great. We got to the event. We were a bit early because they had to set up their part of it. And so you and I just kind of cruised around and did a
Hmm.
lap. It was in, I want to say that was like a college gymnasium. Is
Yeah.
that
We
right? Okay.
literally did a lap,
Yeah,
literally.
that's why I was like, it was on a track and we walked around this the
Yeah.
track quite literally. And then
Literally.
I really felt like, okay, so you don't know me from that time in my life when I was
Yeah.
acting and doing that. So this already like is a weird element. I feel like an extra weird element maybe.
Well, I just thought it was funny that even when you proposed this idea to me and invited me to go along, you were very much like, you could just fly in the next day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go with me. You might be bored. You might not, all these million excuses for me to not go. And I'm like, oh no, if it's an option, like I'm there, I'm going, I want to go.
Well, I wouldn't want
And
to force that on you to sit there and like watch me take pictures all day.
no, I loved
That's
it. I loved it. It was really cool to see you in this whole different element. We don't even talk about it too much, and
no, I don't
like
talk about
being
it
two
much.
mediums, and it was really cool to see. So
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I
I
wasn't
did.
knowing what to expect. I've only
Hmm.
in my time, there was a time right after my time with WW that I did a
Hmm.
lot of different kinds of signings, but it's been many years. I don't accept many requests just because it's a pain to
Hmm.
get to the East Coast and all that, like I was saying last week. So I never kind of know what the energy was going to
Hmm.
be. But even you said the energy was like really good and
I thought it was
positive.
so great. Yeah, like, well, first of all, let me just say. I was so impressed. So many people like stood in your line and
Oh,
wanted to
you're very
see you and
sweet.
greet you, and everyone was so giddy and happy, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, the overall energy, I just felt like nobody, there was no drama, there was no conflict. Everyone had smiles on their face. They're so happy. They've, paid to be there, and they're getting to see like their fans, and they get to see the people that they've wanted to see for a long time. And I mean, you did lots of signings, and it's really cool to see people bring things for you to
Yeah, that's
sign,
always
stuff from
interesting.
way back in the day. And I was like, dang, that's so cool. They're like, have really held on to this life size poster of my friend that they need signed.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. I really
That
don't talk about that part of my life a ton just because I feel like,
yeah.
if you're my friend, maybe you're not interested in that, or I never want to,
Mm,
I don't know, I never want to feel like I'm just talking about myself. And we share this really special
mhm,
gift. So a lot of the
mhm.
times we're talking about, either just kind of
Yeah.
sharing about sessions, bouncing things off each other,
Mhm.
using that creative energy together in that way.
Yeah.
So it was maybe like, a little shocking to see. And it is kind of cool for those that don't know. It was many, many years ago. I want to say like 2004, five, maybe
Mm.
six ish in that vicinity. And so there are people that met me 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago that have like photos with me from then that will bring
Mhm.
them. And
Yeah,
it's kind of funny because sometimes people will show up and say like, do you remember me? And it's like, oh
definitely.
no,
Yeah.
which is really
That
hard.
happened a lot, I felt like.
Yeah.
It felt yeah, quite a bit.
I always joke in my readings when I'm encouraging people to like record their session, and like I could
Mhm.
barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday, let alone like
Mhm.
20 years ago, right? So
Right.
so that's a little interesting piece of it. Yeah, so there were posters sent in that were just like giant, pretty much like life size, maybe even bigger than life size of me, so that's awkward. But overall it was like really fun. Everyone
It was
had a
really
great
good energy.
attitude. Yeah, people were really cool. So that was uh, interesting. Did you feel kind of drained by all the energy there? Because there was a lot of people
There was a
there
lot of energy. Mhm.
and a lot of like big long lines kind of wrapping around and so many
Mhm.
different types of talent and different like types of people. Did you feel like okay in that energy? Did you get drained? What was your
I
perspective?
definitely felt okay in the energy. It did catch up to me, especially I think you too, by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's a little different than like when we're doing readings or something because we're
Mhm.
holding a different vibration then, but it's still me holding a different part of my energy
Mhm.
because I'm always really like concerned about making sure, I've been hired to be there. So I want to give everyone a good
Mhm.
experience and I want to like really be on and attentive and
Right.
in that hostessy part of my
Mhm.
personality. So for me, even though it was really great energy, it could be a little draining in that way. Plus,
Yeah.
there's like an hour drive either way to Long Island.
Mhm.
As part of it, I did get some little like fun boosts or pops of energy for me because I got to see some old friends.
Yeah.
Um, of course, the friends on the talent side are really cool to see. A lot of people would like recognize me knowing
Mhm.
them, but for me, sometimes the coolest surprises are people I didn't know were going to be there that aren't technically like on the talent side but are more on the crew side. There's a photographer,
Yeah.
shout out Johnny Photo, that surprised me that I just was like, oh my gosh, like so excited to see.
Yeah.
So I do get little boosts of energy from
Mhm.
that. Yeah, but overall, by the time we got to, because then we had to take, so the friends that, or the promoters that brought
Mhm.
us, then drove us back to, they were staying by LaGuardia, so brought us back there. And then you and I were staying on in the city. So not
Yeah.
only did we have to like fly in, we stayed up super late. Then we had to get up early, drive an hour, do the event, then drive an hour back to LaGuardia, and then catch a cab an hour into the city.
Yeah.
So that was like a lot. And by the time we got into the city the first night, we we're a little tuckered out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, in the moment and the energy of everything going on, it's so great, right? And just beautiful high vibrations. But yeah, by the end and the drive, and I mean, I think that we found our hotel. I think we checked in.
Mm-hmm.
We went across the street and grabbed a little bite to eat, which,
Yeah, we realized we were
that
starving.
we're hungry.
We had not eaten.
Yeah, and I think we took a little bit of a walk, and then I'm like, okay, I think can we just go back to the room? Like I need to like
Yeah.
regulate my nervous system, my digestive system, everything.
It
And
was really great to have that little. So where we stayed
mhm,
is, you could look it up. It's Broadway Plaza Hotel. I think it's Broadway and 26th ish, which
mhm,
was approximately like 2 to 4 blocks ish from the Flatiron Building, if
yeah,
anyone knows what that is. So after we ate, because we were starving, we did walk a little bit, which was so good to just kind of like move our
yeah,
bodies after so much sitting, stretching. But then we got there, we saw that, and we were both kind of like, again, that energy match. We both were like, are you good? Are you good? Like, can
yeah,
we, yeah. So then we tootled our little selves, and it was a little bit rainy, right? It was a little bit
yeah. It's a
drizzly that night,
little
maybe.
cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
kind of not the best weather. So we had an early, we called it an early night and went to sleep.
Like early. I think we slept like 11 hours, or I slept like 11 hours. There'd be
I slept
times
a
when I
lot.
would wake up and then I'd like look over and you'd be asleep, or you might be another time you were like up and then I like went back to sleep. And then I think the same with you. And we kept kind of missing each other with our wake ups.
Well,
But,
because we weren't sure if we were just going to take a nap or maybe head back out, right? So I think both of us actually may have
right.
fallen asleep in our clothes initially and
Yeah,
then
literally.
changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
And then
was
I think I got up and
so,
changed in the middle of the
it was
night.
like the energy of this room was like so quiet, which I was really surprised about
Yeah, it
because,
was.
you hear, I've not spent a ton of time like in Manhattan, and you hear like,
Hmm.
oh, the horns, the noise, the city that never sleeps.
I
I
heard
was
nothing.
like dead to the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sheets
Yeah.
were so cozy and
The
everything
beds
was
were
just so
cozy. Yeah.
comfortable. And we were kind
Yeah.
of tucked away in a little
Hmm.
corner. So, yeah, we slept really, really slept and caught up on our
Really.
rest.
It was definitely this thing, and it was an energy pool. And it was definitely this thing of me like waking up around like 8 or 9 and feeling a little like bit of guilt of, man, we should probably get out. Like we're in the city, we need to get out and do something. It's a city that never sleeps, right? And then I thought I need to listen to my body because I still feel tired. And I think I just went back to sleep, and then I didn't wake up again until like what, like 8 or 9 in the morning, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 11 hours. And I usually don't sleep
Well,
like that. So,
and that's such a good point too, because a lot of times, just in general, when we're traveling or when we're trying to see
hmm,
things, it's like we do feel that pressure of like, go, 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 when
yeah,
really, like if we hadn't slept that night just because we really didn't sleep the night before, we
hmm,
probably would have not had like as full of days because our days were
yeah, I
crazy
agree.
full. I don't think we would have been able to do it.
I agree. I agree. And that had also crossed my mind, like just take the rest now while you're feeling it. Don't
Yeah.
force anything. And the next morning, I love a slow morning. I love that you love a slow morning. So it was wonderful.
Well, I think
So,
that's both of us kind of had the intention to going in that
hmm,
like there were so many things we could see. There was nothing that
hmm,
either of us felt like we absolutely had to do or had to like really press an itinerary, which
hmm,
believe me, I think you too, because we're both moms of grown kids. And there
yeah,
definitely were times in our life where we probably taken trips with family where it's like there's an agenda, there's a time schedule.
yes,
That was not the time we were trying to have.
no,
So
no,
we just were kind of focused on our slow time
yeah,
together. And it was
hmm,
super nice to have a slow morning the next morning.
hmm,
But again, that's like a way of listening to your intuition too, right? Like if you need a little
exactly.
extra rest, like why fight it so you can be
Hmm.
miserable at the things you're seeing? Like
Right.
not so much. So okay, so we had a slow morning the next morning.
Slow morning.
That
Hmm.
was perfect. I want to say we didn't even probably leave the hotel till closer to noon. Is that
Yeah,
about right?
I agree. Yeah, I think so.
And I think by then we were like, oh, we had some little snacks, I think maybe. You and I are both
Hmm.
kind of snackers early, not too much morning eaters,
Yeah,
right?
right, right.
And then we got ourselves together and
Hmm.
decided to tootle out into the world, into the city.
Yeah, we began in Gramercy Park, which was
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
that is so
so
cool. You guys should know that
started
we're
there.
both big Sex and the City fans. So,
And that's wonderful too.
yes.
Friends, Sex in the City
Well, I think
felt
that was the
really
first
good.
place we were kind of going. So we passed Flatiron again. We walked
Hmm.
up into Gramercy Park where
Hmm.
the front of the brownstone is that's used in the second series. And just like that, right?
Hmm.
Carrie's when she
Yeah,
moves to the to Gramercy
right.
Park area,
Hmm.
and if you've been to New York, things are pretty close walking distance. We definitely got
Hmm.
our steps.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we walked right there. What's so funny too, as part of this we had kind of been talking because we both love Sex in the City. And for those of you, if you don't know about this, don't worry, it doesn't ruin the story part of it. But there's a character at the end of the original series. There's a time where Carrie's dating this other writer, Berger.
Mm.
And for those of you that remember that season, he has this little weird, I don't know, hobby quirk that he finds playing cards randomly all over the city. And we were like, oh, wouldn't that be cool if we just saw random playing cards all over the city? And instead of playing cards, we kept seeing the weirdest, most random puzzle pieces, which.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember this, but what you actually said, I felt like your intention was like you said, I think we should ask for a sign. And
I
then you
remember
said
that.
and you said and then you said that. And I thought, because I was thinking about that later, and I'm like, well, we didn't exactly set the intention of playing cards. You said a sign, and then you used that as an example,
Right.
which
You're
I thought
totally
was really
right.
cool. I just got all these chills, but
Oh,
I
it's
thought,
funny.
oh, that's cool that that happened in the way that it did, because we didn't see a single playing card, at least not like on the street, or in that form. But the puzzle pieces were really cool. So
Yeah,
to
that was.
see,
Yeah, and they're like real puzzle pieces. Like, so we're not talking about like art installations or paint. We're talking about
no,
like
a
rainy,
random,
half melted in totally different parts of the city. We
yeah.
saw
And
them, but it did
the
start right
first
around that
time we saw
Gramercy Park,
just
right?
one, it did. Yeah, we saw one puzzle piece, and we're like, oh, that's interesting, And I think we could even made a connection right then that
Yeah,
I wonder if this is it. And then sure enough, we would find
we
them
kept seeing them.
randomly.
You know what just came to my mind too? So
Hmm.
this is like a quick little flashback that I forgot to mention. When we were in the car driving from the event back to towards the city, someone had this happens to me frequently, and I know it does to you too because we talk about
Hmm.
it. Someone had some questions about mediumship and what that meant
Oh, yeah.
and how that worked. And of course, me and my chattermouth went to like just, trying to answer and explain and make it so,
Hmm.
I don't want to make it uncomfortable, or no one has to subscribe to my belief or
Right.
experience, but
Right.
it's, I don't know if you find this, it's sometimes fascinating when people start to feel comfortable around us. The people that ask are perhaps maybe not the people that you would think would be curious and ask.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
So that was just a little interesting part of our
Yeah.
time that I forgot to mention. Okay, so flash forward, we're at Gramercy Park. We see that little puzzle piece, and not too
Hmm.
far away, we decide to walk to. I think we were headed to Washington Square Park, right?
We was, yeah. So that was a vibe too.
Yes, and
Yeah.
around that time, it was a chilly morning, and around that
Hmm.
time, the sun really broke out, and so.
Hmm.
If you've never been to Washington Square Park, it's that famous park in New York that has like the really beautiful is it cement concrete arch.
Hmm.
It's gorgeous. There's pictures on my social and Rhonda's, which I'll link both of them in the show notes. So you can kind of see all the
Yeah. It's
photos
in the
of what we're
college.
talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it's famous. You will have seen it, but
It's
it
in
was
the
so
college
beautiful.
area. Yeah.
Yeah. Right across from NYU. That's right. Which
Hmm.
I learned when while we were there. So it's just kind of cool people watching, right? And
Yeah.
so we just kind of sat down and decided to there was music and it's really
Hmm.
vibrant there. There was someone that had like a literal whole piano, like not a tiny keyboard, but
Yeah.
like a whole piano.
People were dancing to that and dancing
Yeah.
to someone playing the drums. And I just felt like the energy was so good there that it literally made us want to, oh, we're going to take our jackets off, or, oh, we're going to like actually sit down and we're going to chill for a while because
Yeah.
it felt really good. And I love to people watch.
Yeah. We just kind of were
Hmm.
sitting there. I mean, as you might imagine, in a big city like New York, there's always something to see and do. And there are
Hmm.
little kind of like vendors and people
Hmm.
selling things, or just like you might imagine, on little tables. So we're kind of watching them. Out in front of us, there was like this almost like a pit, like a circle, concrete circle that went down in that
Yeah.
people were like skateboarding. And there was these kids. They were NYU students, but not necessarily. And what we recognized that they were doing was there was a few of them recording and a few of them
Hmm.
sitting across on the steps, and they were doing like a ramen taste test, and they were
Yeah.
gradually going through like more spicy ramen. So if you ever watched that stuff on YouTube, I do. I don't know why I like those kind of
I
taste
do
test
too.
videos, but I do.
Yeah.
So we were kind of enthralled in that, and I'm watching these kids eat this ramen, and then all of a sudden Rhonda's like, "Oh my gosh, I would have never seen this," but go ahead.
Well, I saw it because I have been trying to manifest seeing this particular celebrity for every single time I go there. I always think that I'm going to see or run into Andy Cohen and SJP because they're besties. And I'm like, sure, I'm just going to randomly see them sitting outside or at a restaurant. And while I didn't see SJP, I definitely noticed Andy Cohen. And I'm like, oh my God, there he is. I think I've manifested this actually happening.
I
Maybe it was
think you
just the
have.
wonderful, maybe it was just the wonderful energy that we had and the place had, and everything felt very divine.
Well, the
But
serendipity of New York City, I guess, but I
exactly.
would have never. Andy Cohen of Bravo fame
Hmm.
and celebrity. I would have never noticed just because I'm not great at recognizing people, but it was so
Hmm.
cool because he was literally straight across from us, like
Hmm.
just on the other side of those kids recording. So it
Yeah.
was so funny because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you just open your perspective a little. I'm like, oh my
A
gosh,
little bit more, yeah. He was just in the background of something we was already watching, and we're like, "Oh,
yeah.
that's so
He
cool."
just kind of
Like
showed up. We
literally,
were
there he is.
there. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he walks into the frame and just, he was having a jolly conversation on the phone for a really
Yeah, he
long
was just
time with whoever he was
chilling.
talking to.
Hmm.
So that was really
Yeah,
cool. So we got a little celebrity
a little
sighting
celebrity sighting. Yeah,
in, which also felt just like another one of those just really synchronistic. I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm
We didn't
feeling.
like
Yeah.
seek it out. We just were sitting there and
No.
he just
Yeah.
kind of walked into
Yeah.
frame, which was pretty
Right.
cool.
Which was cool.
And I
Hmm.
think from there we were so close to you spent quite a bit of time in New York, so we were really
Hmm.
close to some things that you knew I would like to see, which
Yeah, like the
was
West
cool.
Village
Yeah, the
area.
Friends
It's
building,
really
the
cool.
exterior of the
Hmm.
Friends building. And then we walked around to, um, where else did we go? Sarah Jessica Parker's like actual house and the
Street.
one that
Oh,
was on the show, right?
yeah. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think we did see at least one puzzle piece in that little mix of
Yeah.
time
We did.
too,
Yes.
which was crazy.
Hmm.
Um, and we walked for it was like a really long time that we were
Hmm.
out and about. From there, we were hungry. I was hungry.
Hmm.
And we
We were
just so
hungry.
happened to be just around the corner. I don't talk about it a lot on the pod, which maybe one day I will, but I'm gluten free. So there was this, I had looked up, New York has some really amazing gluten free food offerings, like putting San Diego to shame a little bit, if I'm honest.
Hmm.
And there's this place called Senza, which is a full gluten free restaurant, Italian restaurant that just so happened to be kind of back towards where we were. So we just tootled
Yeah.
back over there and they happened to be open. They happened to be not crowded. There was like, we could just pop right in, no reservation needed, which I think that's a place that often reservations are needed or
Yeah.
highly suggested. It's tiny, but it's like just so
Yeah.
cool.
So
And I
cool.
thought the food was amazing.
The food was good. And it was just so cool that you were able to get that kind of food gluten free. Because I
Yeah.
don't know if that's for you or if that's like that for you all the time, to,
It's not. And often like particularly this is such like a weird little gluten-free nerd thing, but particularly with pasta, often you're getting some I'm Italian, so I know the shapes and they're important to me. You're getting some kind of little rigatoni, like the um short little ones. You don't often get the one that is like the spaghetti shape or the bucatini shape with gluten-free pasta that
hmm.
tastes like normal-ish, I guess. And there's
Hmm.
even like a bread basket, which was so
I thought it
good.
was great.
So it was
I wouldn't
really
have
good.
known that that bread was gluten free. It was so delicious.
Yeah, I almost wonder if someone like if you took them there and they didn't know. I don't think you would
Yeah, I wouldn't
know.
have
I
known.
really
I
don't.
I wouldn't have. Yeah.
I had chicken parm because that's the girl I am with pasta.
I had chicken noodle soup, homemade chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, you were a little tired. You were a little like
Yeah.
needing some nutrition in there, but I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm going
And
for
it was
this pasta.
delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
you
was
know, you
good.
really liked it. You
Hmm.
said it was really fresh and
I ate
really
it all.
good.
Yeah.
And the place was
Hmm.
so cozy and we chose to sit outside. There's a tiny little outside area which was very sweet just
Hmm.
for the people watching of it all, which did not disappoint.
No,
But the
no.
inside was gorgeous too. So,
Hmm.
but I really loved getting to see. And I can't tell you how many times, I don't know if this is normal, how many times either we just happened to be sitting literally across from a sign that said psychic medium, or when we
Oh,
were at that
everywhere.
little outdoor area, people
Hmm.
walked by talking about a palm
Yeah.
reader that was on the corner, which we just kept looking at each other like, oh, that's so
Like it
weird.
was everywhere.
It
Yeah.
was everywhere. And it's like one thing if there's like, yeah, you see the signs, but it's like we even heard people commenting
Yeah.
about it, trying to get other people to get a reading like in front of
Yeah.
it. It was just very strange. It
It's
felt
true.
strange to
Yeah.
me, or a little bit like eyebrow raising to me. Where
Yeah.
did we go after that? We are so
Mhm.
in sync with each other's energy too, which I think is another cool part of it. Perhaps this happens for other good friends when they travel together,
Mhm.
but we also could kind of feel each other's energy like, oh, should we kind of like head back
Start heading
now,
back. Yeah.
take a little like refresh, regroup
Yeah.
ourselves, decide what we want to do later. So we were really on the same page about that by
Yeah.
then. And we had
And
kind of a long hike back.
and I think that's what we did too. I think we just organically started heading that way and just kind of intuitively both knew that that's what we wanted or needed to do.
Yeah. I will
Yeah.
say, if you want me to edit this out, I will. But one of us had to go to the bathroom on the way by, and we
Mhm.
just so happened to. I don't know about you. The way my life works, sometimes I have to pop in bathrooms, places. I have some tummy stuff. And it's very hard often to find a
Mhm.
place that just like has an open bathroom that
Yeah,
lets you use the bathroom or that doesn't have some sort of like police situation, like where you have
for
to
sure.
get a key or I don't know, go on an
Well,
adventure to find the
yeah.
bathroom. But you chose a place and you were like, how about right here?
Yeah.
And it was
I
like so fast
yeah.
in out. It was crazy.
I am the one of us. And yeah, and it was so divine to be
Well, I'm
like
usually the one of us, so it's
well,
fine.
again, that's another it's another thing between the two of
Yeah.
us. But yeah, it was so easy, like a quick in and out, and I'm like, okay, great, like let's go. And
Which
yeah,
felt like a little miracle, like in and of
yeah,
itself, which was cool. The
right.
other bit, I think I was so in the experience that I didn't like make any notes about it, but I also like interesting music crosses my path different places. And there was
Mm-hmm.
definitely music along the way. Like I remember in that, it was kind of like a little pub-ish place that we popped in. Even there was
Yeah,
something with the music there that I was like, oh, hi guys. Okay.
yeah,
That's a sign for like we're in the right place and this is like divinely
I
ordered.
agree. Hmm.
Yeah. So then we kind of had to go back towards the park, back towards Washington
Hmm.
Square Park where we came from, all the way back to the hotel. And
Hmm.
then, oh, I think we ended up, that's the night it was raining, right? And we just popped right
It
across the
did.
street for
Yeah.
grill dinner,
Hmm. Which was
appetizers, and
appetizers and
desserts.
dessert.
I had a cocktail. I had two cocktails, actually, I think,
Yeah.
but that was good,
Uh,
which was perfect because it was just right across the
mhm.
street from the hotel. It felt, I don't know. And even that place had like really cool kind of new wave and
Yeah.
80s and 90s
Hmm.
music,
Music.
which didn't seem like the kind of place that would maybe have
Not
it.
at all.
So it was
Not at all.
perfect.
But
I
it
liked
did.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was really cool. I feel like we had some other synchronistic things happen just in our conversation when we were
Hmm.
there, which was kind of cool. And then after that, we called it a night.
Hmm.
And then what happened the next day? We took an easy morning again because
Yeah, we slept
why wouldn't
good.
you?
Another slow morning,
Yeah,
right?
which is great. Why
And it
wouldn't
was
you?
raining too. It was raining
That's
pretty
right.
heavily that morning. So we're like, okay, it's our excuse to
Yeah,
we're
no
just
need
gonna
to
stay in and
rush.
take our time.
Yeah, no need to be rushed.
Hmm.
And then what did we do? How did our day start that day? That's the day we ended up
I
at the
think
Met, but
we
where did we start? Oh,
I
Chelsea
think we
Market. We walked to Chelsea
oh, that's
Market because
right.
we saw those other puzzle pieces melting in the rain. And
We did.
it's crazy because I gotta say about this, it's not like I saw like someone spilled a whole puzzle. It was like two
No.
or three puzzle pieces, sometimes
Yeah.
one alone on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
like for no reason, not near
So
anything else that would make it make sense.
So let me ask you, when you're thinking of the puzzle pieces and what that means, what are you thinking?
I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a sign about like, you know me. I feel like for me, I don't get to see that far ahead in my path. I just do breadcrumbs. I just kind of am moving
Hmm.
to the next breadcrumb and things will sometimes, if things are feeling very synchronistic, I know like, okay, I'm on the right
Hmm.
path here. I also have I have a personal number sign and like a lucky number. And I saw in my
Hmm.
lucky number's 8, I saw so many eights in
Oh my
strange
gosh.
places too, which we can talk about the numbers too. But for me, yeah, I think it's like, this is ordered. This is like a piece to your puzzle. You not going to see the whole thing yet, but like keep
Yeah.
going this direction. What do you
Hmm.
think?
So to me, I felt like the pieces are coming together.
Oh, I love that.
Like there's
I'll take
something
it.
forming. Oh, I just got chills, but there's something
Oh,
forming about like in each, like we're meant to be there, we're meant to be there at this time, or we're meant to meet the people that we met somehow, or
yeah.
all those things that we're finding these little puzzle pieces that fit together is what it felt
Yeah.
like to me. I don't know,
Which I thought
but
was really
yeah,
cool.
me
So
too.
that was
Me too.
neat. So
Hmm.
it was kind of rainy. Our hotel had
Hmm.
just beautiful umbrellas that they let us borrow, which we took and
Hmm.
didn't use. So we
We
walked
carried
to,
around all day long,
yeah,
taking
we,
turns.
exactly. We walked to Chelsea Market, which wasn't, it was maybe like a 15-minute walk, which was kind
Yeah,
of after our slow morning. It felt nice to like actually
yeah,
move our
it was
body a
good.
little bit, I think. So that
Hmm.
felt great. We got to Chelsea Market, which, if you're not familiar, is sort of like it's very cool in there, but it's like indoor. They have lots of food places in there.
Yeah, lots of food places, little shops here and there,
Hmm.
but mostly food, I'd say.
And some like specialty gourmet food shops that
Yeah,
you like take things
yeah.
away from, like cured meats or
Artisan type.
sauces. Yeah, artisan type things.
Hmm.
So there were some really cool things. And there was that one shop at the end. Actually, I keep thinking about, there was this guy that we met that was, it was his first day there, which again, synchronicity. And he was
Hmm.
making these gorgeous, they
Oh,
almost looked like
yeah.
trench coats, but they were like just this
Gorgeous.
silk, beautiful fabric and one of a
Vibrant
kind.
colors.
Oh my God, so amazing. And we had asked him, like, oh, do you have a website? Like, and he's like, oh, it's
Hmm.
my first day here, which again, like, how crazy that
Yeah.
we got to see him on his first day there with his creations. There's a little bit
Hmm.
of a joke as part of this because I was like, oh, I want to see my celebrity sighting, LL Cool J. That's what I said when we saw Andy Cohen. Don't you know we come
Yeah.
around the corner in that little area of Chelsea Market and there's like a poster of LL Cool J in someone's
Yeah.
booth and you were just like, oh look, there's your man.
There you
So
go.
that also was like a little funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just feels like winks from Spirit,
Hmm.
like, haha, you
Yeah.
guys.
I
So,
agree.
and then
I think Spirit has a sense of
synchronistically
humor.
again,
Hmm.
so I didn't mention, but I had this little list in my little note section. I had researched just some gluten-free places in different areas. And as part of my nerdy pursuit, I watched a lot of YouTube videos and reviews. And because, just because a place is gluten-free doesn't mean it's delicious and you need to eat there.
Hmm.
But there was this one place that had like a few different locations, Friedman's, that everyone was talking about. And lo and behold, we were like, oh, what are we going to eat? We're going to look. And you were like, let's look at this menu right here. And then I was looking at it and I saw like gluten-free a couple places. And I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah. This
one
is
of the
it.
places on my list. Like we hadn't even known.
Yeah.
Which again was, I had some pot stickers. They were pretty
Yeah.
great. I forget
What
what
did
you
I
had.
have? Oh,
You
I had fries.
had,
I
oh
had
yeah,
truffle
sweet
fries.
potato fries.
Girl lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we also were like trying to save room for dinner. We were just trying to keep it
Hmm.
light. We were still
Hmm.
walking around
Yeah.
and not knowing what we were entirely going to get into. So we
Right.
did that. That was great. And then we kind of roamed around a little bit more within the market just to see. And then,
Hmm.
um, yeah, then that was the morning that I said I did the game on my social on Instagram,
Oh.
like what
Hmm.
time's it going to stop raining? Because it was raining. And then we decided we were going to go to the Met because both of us really wanted to go to the
Yeah.
Metropolitan Museum of Art, which was quite a hike. That was like maybe 50 blocks from where we were or
We took a
so.
cab.
We
Yeah.
took a cab.
Yeah.
we
We're like, no.
took
And
a
I'm
whole
glad we
cab.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret that at all. And
Mm-mm.
actually, I mean, I don't know if it's always like this, but we popped right into cabs everywhere we
Yeah.
went. We really didn't have to
Hmm.
wait at all, which I don't
Yeah.
know if that's just the way it is there, if everybody's always that lucky. He had kind of said it
Hmm.
wasn't a great day for him as far as catching
Right.
fares. And then we went all the way up to the Met, which was really fun. We got, there's always sightseeing along the way, I think,
Hmm.
anytime you're there.
Hmm.
We popped out right in the, right as he was coming around the corner and got to take some cool
Yeah.
pictures outside the Met, which I was really excited
Yeah. That
about.
was
I know
cool.
I've
Yeah.
always wanted to see it, and you too, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was kind of another synchronistic thing that was on both of our maybe we'll see this lists. And all the times you've
Hmm.
gone, you hadn't been there either. So that was kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I think there was one day that it was raining and Reese and I decided to go, but everyone has the same idea when it's raining and it's to go to a museum, and it was so
Yeah.
crowded. Felt like there was a school trip of like all the schools or something, and we're like, I think we're out of here, and
That
we
was
we
so
didn't go. So
funny.
I'd never made it past the lobby. So
So fun. And it was gorgeous in there. We
oh my
went to
gosh.
ask, I don't even remember what we went to ask. We went to the information
Oh,
desk. What were we even asking?
I don't think we did. I think she just was so kind and like
Just
offered
like
up all
stopped
this
us.
information. Well, we went to ask about to pay to
Oh
get the
yeah, where
tickets,
was
the
the
membership.
tickets? Right.
Yeah. And then she gave us a map and then all this
So much
information on the
information.
map. And she's like writing notes, but she's definitely like using like, what do you call it? Like abbreviations to everything.
Right,
So I don't
yeah.
even know what she was really saying much, but it was so kind of her to like take that time out to do it.
And it was kind of, she was so passionate too. And it was really cool because it just kind of felt like somehow, because I
Yeah,
remember I'm like, we didn't really ask her anything. We asked her, yeah, where do we
we
get
didn't.
tickets? And we were just expecting her to like point us because it's a little bit
Hmm.
overwhelming. It's a big lobby and there's a
Hmm.
lot of people in there. But she just really went to town of like, you have to see this and don't worry about this and you want to see this. And it
And
was
that was
amazing.
it was a good energy too. You could tell she really likes her job and she likes helping
Yeah.
people. And even I don't know if you remember this, but when we were standing there and she was helping us, we got interrupted and some man came up and asked her and she was so polite and so kind and like helped him and it was like she really likes being here
Yeah, but
in
what
this
was weird
chaos.
is she didn't like give him the map with all the stars in it and stuff
No,
either. It was
no,
just like
she
she just
didn't
was
do
like
that.
still telling
Yeah,
us, which was very
yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
All along the way, we got to see really cool fashion, which both of us appreciate.
Love,
So
yeah.
there was a gal in the line that had just like the most.
Hmm.
I'll put pictures of the fashion stuff on the web too, but
Yeah,
there was like a girl with just the coolest tailored coat in
yeah.
line.
She
So
looked like a princess.
she
She
did.
was gorgeous. Yeah.
And I felt like most people were pretty friendly. Like I was pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely. I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. You go to the city and you expect it to be, like what you see in movies or so cold. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's times that it is, but it hasn't been in my experience. I haven't experienced that going
Yeah,
there.
I
So,
thought that was great.
hmm.
So we decided to first make our way over to the Egyptian wing, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. It's like a whole wing. And of course, as you might imagine, there's like so much incredible stuff there.
Uh-huh.
But one of the first things we looked at, which isn't in that first little room, it's kind of as you move to the second room, they have the whole wall lined with this really long scroll, is what it looked like to me, of like papyrus. But as
Mm-hmm.
we stopped and looked, the segment that we started looking at was spells and incantations,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was like
We're
so
like,
crazy.
what? Yeah. I'm like, interesting. But
And the
yeah.
other thing is, I think we both started to notice that Egyptian area, something about a lot of the artifacts felt really familiar
Hmm.
in a
Yeah.
strange, like indescribable way, which was
Hmm.
interesting. There was
Yeah.
a couple statues. There's something about, I think most people have like a reverence for those type of artifacts, right? We know they're old, we know
Hmm.
they're special. A lot of people are into Egypt. I'm sure that's pretty standard. But there's I don't even know how to describe the energy of it. And some of the artifacts we were drawn to, I'm thinking of that one. I don't even know what it goes to, but it's a sculpture of like the woman's face, and it's in the case. And we were like, oh my gosh, her eyes are
Oh
following.
yeah,
You know what I'm
I
talking
remember.
about?
I
Because we
do.
even did it
And
with the
it's
camera.
beautiful.
And it wasn't, for me, it didn't seem as much like it was doing it in real life. It was only looking through the camera that I was like, look at this. And
Yeah.
it was the weirdest,
Hmm.
coolest thing.
Yeah.
So that felt a little bit, I don't know, that felt a little
No, it was
interesting, where I
cool.
was
It
like, oh
was
my God,
cool.
this statue's following me with his eyes. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
There were so many, I mean, as you might imagine, so many cool artifacts, hand painted things, like handmade
Hmm.
beads, and you can just feel the layers of energy in there, I
Yeah.
guess. Is that the best way to say it?
I mean, that's how I would describe it. That's how I felt too. And it
Yeah.
felt, it was so interesting because it also just felt really deep too. Like,
Yeah.
not just a surface level feeling or just, oh, how you feel someone's energy. It felt layered.
Yeah, like a depth of, and I don't know if it's I sometimes am surprised. I know objects can carry energy, but
Hmm.
something ancient like that, it's kind
Yeah.
of surprising how much residual or resonant energy still is
Hmm.
in all of those things, which was really fascinating.
You know what I found really fascinating, and I took pictures every time that I saw it. I don't know if I even mentioned it to you, but the footwear of the sandals and stuff that from that time, it was so interesting that that even existed or that they even, I don't know, it was so interesting to
Yeah.
me. And yeah, just like these like sandals that it's like, I don't know.
Well, I think like
Did
a
you see
lot of
that?
us too, I didn't really notice the sandal part of it, but I did kind of I kind of kept noticing the feet, which I know was very weird, but I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I think I said this to you even. There was a room that we couldn't go in that had all these giant sculptures that
Mm-hmm.
clearly came off of buildings or pyramids or something. Much, I
Hmm.
mean, we could have stood on each other's head and still not been as tall as some
Oh,
of these
yeah.
things. And the for how intricate every area was carved to like exact replica, the the feet just seemed strange to me. Like the toes were extra
Hmm.
long, they seemed extra big, and I don't know. I think a lot of people now, with all of the History Channel stuff about
Hmm.
ancient aliens and
Hmm.
how do they intertwine with the Egyptians and all of their advanced knowledge of astronomy
Right.
and architecture, and so I think I'm always aware of that too as part of
Yeah.
just feeling like there's so much deeper wisdom that we like to think of ourselves as so advanced in
Hmm.
present day that I don't think we have access to all of it that they had.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we kind of just let ourselves like meander around and just be kind of, I don't know,
Hmm.
led through. That area is not, surprisingly, it's not like linear like a lot of museums, like a maze.
Hmm.
It's just kind of like you can go several different directions and you just sort
Yeah.
of stumble around.
Hmm.
around.
Yeah. Which
But
we did.
before, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Before we knew it, we kind of happened out into this area, which opens up into just a
Yeah.
huge area where there's an actual, like, what is that, a temple that's in there?
Yeah. I think
Like
it's a temple.
rebuilt inside there?
There was like two or three of them in there.
It was
Definitely
really
two.
cool.
They
I'm
were
thinking about that.
so
Yeah, that
cool.
one area that opens up into that big temple with the
Hmm.
pillars and all of that, which was
Are
really
you talking
cool.
about that had the windows and the
Yeah.
glass ceiling in one
Yep.
area? Yeah.
It's like a
And the
whole
water,
segment. Yeah,
hmm,
a big pool of water, and it's
pond
like they
thing.
reconstructed a whole segment of a temple inside there, which was like just massive.
Amazing.
It was
Yeah.
so interesting though, because there were a few different people trying to get photographs with like no one in front. And so we were kind of there for a while trying to get some good pictures. The carvings are so intricate, and the way that
Mm.
whole structure is rebuilt, you can really see how the carvings cross over from like, oh, half the body's on one stone and half's on the next. So
Yeah.
it's very clear that they have it put together exactly correct. And one of the things that I thought was crazy is we had just been kind of, as we were walking through that area, talking about the blue light beings and
Hmm.
aliens just a little,
Hmm.
and how curious we were about all that. And as I went around, as we walked around to like the far side of that structure, they were projecting onto the side of it, onto the carvings, almost like a color replica of what the colors would have been. And the central figure was blue, which was like
Blue.
blue skin, which
Yeah.
was crazy. I took pictures of it, which I'll post
Yeah.
online, but
I think what I found so crazy about that situation was that we really hadn't talked about the blue people, blue beings. There was
no, no, we
no
don't really talk
indication.
about that.
Yeah, there was no indication anywhere in there, even though we're both fascinated with it. We hadn't spoke of it. There was no indication of anything like that throughout all the other stuff that we saw. And then we mention it, we're talking about it and our fascination with it, and then there it appears. It is like
I
on the side of
know.
this thing in a projection or whatever, and yeah,
And
like
you
this
couldn't see it
blue.
at all from the other side. So we couldn't see it at
No.
all until we crossed all the way around to the other side of it, which was just like, I
Yeah,
don't
we're
know,
like,
kind of
huh,
mind
yeah,
blowing
yeah.
in the synchronicity of it. Where it's like, oh my gosh, like we literally just were talking about that.
Yeah.
And then we again we're kind of like,
Hmm.
okay, well, should we kind of move on? We only had a few hours total before it was going to close, and there were some things we just like
Hmm.
wanted to see. And then it got a little weird again, because all of a
It did.
sudden, as we were like, oh, which direction should we go, a
Hmm.
couple of security guys came in. The guy, I felt like, tell me how you felt about the energy, because I was realizing I did feel energy from both of those people. The
Hmm.
guy that was verbally saying, okay, we're going to need everyone to start moving, find an exit, there was some urgency. He was quite
Hmm.
serious. It didn't seem like we're closing for cleaning or we close this area
Mm-mm.
early. There was a different intensity, but the guy that was walking beside him, not saying anything, he had
He
such
looked
an intense
he looked a little
energy.
frazzled.
He did look a little
Yeah.
frazzled. His eyes were wide, but he had
Hmm.
just this like intensity, even with like his walk and the way he was like looking. And we never did
I
find
agree.
out why they were
no.
closing that area,
But
but
but it did spark like a little, like not just like us or anything, but like with people around, a little bit of panic, a little bit of like, okay, do we need to get out of the museum completely? Do we need, are we okay just out of this wing? Like it wasn't just us. I saw people like in front of us as we're just kind of
okay.
like, we were definitely wondering like, that's a little weird.
Like what's
Like,
going on?
is there
Yeah.
something that's happening? But the people that were in front of us that were walking, you could tell that they were a little panicked, you know. So
Yeah.
that voice that he used or whatever, it didn't just seem like, oh, closing time. It definitely felt
Yeah, there
like,
was a different
get your stuff,
urgency.
get out, you know, like everyone get out. And it's like, huh,
Yeah,
I
it
wonder what that was
was,
all about.
I know, it was a little bit of a different,
Hmm.
yeah, it wasn't just like, because we noticed we did stay till closing and they're
Yeah,
very
we just,
casual about the way they
yeah.
clear those areas. It's just like they put a little rope up and they're looking on their
Hmm.
phones and they're not really talking to you. This was
I
different.
mean, I feel like some,
So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
But
we
yeah, I
did
feel like someone
stay,
could,
but
I feel like someone could stay in that museum and someone wouldn't know. I don't know. They're so
except for
casual.
probably all the infrared beams that they probably have going
Oh,
around
true,
everywhere
true,
at night. But yeah,
true.
you probably could just sit still
They're
and
just very
they'd miss you.
like, no,
Uh,
no hurry.
so we did decide to kind of go upstairs after that and just
Hmm.
wandered around
Yeah.
some of the areas and looking at some of the paintings. We did see some kind of interesting. I'll pop it up
Hmm.
on the screen if I can. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you or if you're listening, make sure you go check it out
Hmm.
on YouTube or look at the social so you can see it. There's this really interesting painting that I don't know if it drew your attention first or mine, but it was like a girl. She's sleeping with a box of trinkets or like mementos on her lap. And in the painting, it's kind of made to look like there's one figure that's like tickling her with a feather while she's sleeping. And there's like three other
Hmm.
figures kind of around her. And as I'm looking at it, I kind of notice like these figures are a little bit
Yeah.
translucent. Like
Hmm.
you could, they're kind of ghostly, even though they have color. They're not like white ghosts, but they don't look solid
Hmm.
like her in the same way. And it just struck me as like so strange.
What's interesting is that I think we were noticing these things somewhat at the same time. You definitely was like, I think this is a ghost. Like it looks translucent. Like you can see the chair kind of,
Yeah, through the
right?
person, sort of. Yeah.
What caught my eye about it was I felt like, well, we always talk about like in mediumship, we talk about the spirit world and how
Yeah.
they're like right here, right? They're just in this
Right.
different vibration, this different realm, but they're like right here. And to me, just the way that the other figures in this painting, like one's like tickling her, but and the other one definitely looks translucent. But it's like this other one is like doing something totally different, but they're all like right there. And it just
Yeah.
kind of felt like how like a representation of what I kind of think happens in a way of like, you know, when we our loved ones are around
Yeah.
us, that they can be just right there, right next to us, and we would never even know she's sleeping
Totally. Well,
and
and then
she's
I
not
kind
even
of was
knowing.
also wondering if that box of mementos, if like maybe those are like mementos of her loved ones and they're just all right around her
Maybe.
and she's missing them and they just all are. So
Yeah.
it
Remind
was
me, but
interesting.
was one of them playing an instrument or had an instrument? Because it's
I'm
the
gonna
thing
look
of
at it
like,
right now.
if she's
One of them
sleeping,
is holding a cane and kind of like leaning and
mm,
looking at her. One of them is like an adoring woman with her hands just
yeah.
together. Um, there's the man that's like behind her with the feather like towards her eyebrow,
Hmm.
and then there's the really translucent, quite a bit
Okay, so
older,
it's
like
not an
very
instrument.
senior figure. No, it kind of looks like, I'll
Hmm.
show it to you right now. It kind of looks like an instrument,
Okay, I
but
see.
it's like a cane. Yeah, but he is kind
Yeah.
of leaning in like a weird
Yeah, they're all
way.
like right there, and he's just like staring at her. I don't know. It's just a weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that this is
What's
like a painting
bizarre
of
is,
ghosts or spirits.
so we were like, let's read what this thing says, right? Like, what does
Hmm.
it say it is? And the artist is Gaspare Traversi, Italian, Naples. Teasing a Sleeping Girl is what it's called, from 1760, oil on canvas. So it says that his career is like really poorly documented on this little plaque. I'll put the plaque too, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they write about it next to it. It says he translated the half-length narrative compositions of high Baroque painters such as Caravaggio into parodic, like parody images of social classes. Their emphatic naturalism and biting wit can be compared to the more famous English artist William Hogarth. In characteristic example, an old man tickles a young girl who has fallen asleep with a box of keepsakes on her lap. And I read that and I was like, I don't think that's what's
Uh-uh.
happening.
I
Like,
don't either.
that doesn't seem at all like.
I
So
agree.
I will, again, I'll try to, in this segment of the video, pop it up, so you guys can see what we're talking about this whole time. And I'll definitely have it on socials, so make sure you check it out. But it's just so interesting because as part of, I think you noticed this too, as part of the whole trip, it was interesting how I sometimes feel like little references to the spirit world are like just
Yeah.
there and we don't pay attention. Or people were talking about, oh, the energy of this, the energy of that. It's like, oh my gosh, people are talking about this. And then they act like it's a crazy thing to talk about when really
Yeah.
it's just right here all around
It's
us,
just there.
and people aren't even seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I know that it wasn't even like a super significant painting or like highlighted. It was just tucked in a corner in like a way that we just kind of happened onto it.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit
And
strange.
yeah, it's a little strange too that we walked by many paintings, but we didn't stop and
Yeah.
take our time to look at because there's so many. And then that one was one that we both did, and we're like, this is a
Yeah.
interesting painting.
Yeah. I thought that was really
Hmm.
interesting.
Hmm.
We did kind of make our way around through. I'm thinking of that one painting that was kind of near more of like the area with the Persian rugs and the,
Mm,
um, obviously like Moroccan carvings and
yeah,
things.
the
One thing,
textiles. Hmm.
yeah, one thing you did comment on that I was feeling even at the moment you said it is like, wow, like look at the eyes. You can feel the
Hmm.
emotion. And I don't know if it's just because we're both art lovers. I don't know if it has to do with our mediumship, but I really feel like I could feel. I mean, we even stopped a couple times to read the thing
Yeah,
next to it because we could feel such powerful emotion
emotion. Yeah.
from the painting.
Hmm.
So that was also really fascinating to
And then it's
me.
things like that. Are we being who we are? Are we feeling the emotion of the creator, of the person who's
Yeah,
putting the love and the work and their vision into this?
right.
Whose energy are we reading here? It's like really cool.
Yeah, well, and I think about it with mediumship too, because we always talk about in mediumship that a spirit communicator can't communicate an emotion that we're not willing to feel.
Hmm.
So it's just interesting that we're able to kind of like feel these emotions from these paintings. And sometimes it's almost like I noticed you notice this too. Sometimes the emotion that's being expressed by the person in the painting does not match the scene of what's happening. So it's even
Totally.
more
Yeah.
interesting of like, oh, wait a minute, this person feels
Hmm.
concerned or sad or yeah. So that was all just really
Yeah.
a big fascinating part of it.
Hmm.
So we closed down the museum
Hmm.
and we got swept out with everybody else into the city. And then by the time we had arrived at the museum, it had stopped raining. So it
Hmm.
wasn't raining anymore when we popped out.
Hmm.
And we were kind of on the fence about it was 5 p.m. because I think it closed at
Hmm.
5. So it was just after. Do we walk through Central Park? It
Yeah.
wasn't dark. Are we tired? We definitely were going to take a cab either way because it was kind of far.
Hmm.
I didn't even get to tell you this yet. So my best friend, you already know this, happened to be in the city at the same time as us,
Hmm.
having like a totally different adventure with her family. And she asked, "Oh, you guys were at the Met. Did you go to Central Park?" And I was like, "Oh, we wanted to, but we were getting too tired. It was just too much." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky you didn't because right in the center, they were doing some refab." And she's like, whatever fertilizer they were using, she's like, it didn't smell like typical duty
Oh
fertilizer.
no.
She's like, it was the most disgusting, gagging chemical smell ever. And I was like, how crazy, because we
So
really
glad
were
yeah.
on the fence about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'd kind of like dipped in and walked just a tiny bit. And we're like, oh, we're gonna make it to this bridge, just to kind of get
Yeah,
a look. And then we're like, I think we'll
we're like,
just do it a different day. just a
Yeah,
different
so I
time.
just thought
We'll
that
be
was so
back.
crazy. Yeah, I didn't even get to tell you
Yeah.
that yet. So I just thought that was so
Yeah, I
crazy
didn't
when I
know
was like,
that.
oh, that's why. Because it was weird because
Hmm.
both of us wanted to see Central Park.
Yeah, like,
So
and
it
we're
was,
walking that way anyway. It was
yeah,
kind of like, I don't know,
we're like 20 feet into the park. So yeah, it was
just
very strange.
just intuitive. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I thought it was is because we kind of dipped in a little and then kind of dipped back out, and we're walking
Hmm.
on Fifth alongside the park, and then all of a sudden we just kind of were like, "Are you ready to go?" Because we had planned on walking a little to see a little bit of Fifth
Hmm.
Avenue, decide if we were hungry, if we wanted to go back, and then all of a sudden both of us kind of were like, "Yeah, I'm ready to grab a cab." We crossed the street to be, more access to that side of where we would grab a cab. And we did flag one down super quick. And as
Yeah.
soon as we hopped in, it starts pouring, which
Yeah.
was crazy. It's like it had
Crazy.
been starting to kind of like get a little meh, like just
Hmm.
yucky, but it wasn't, the skies hadn't opened up really.
Right.
And
I
it
mean, just,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
pouring.
just really
We're like,
pouring.
yeah,
So that was crazy.
that was
Because we
crazy.
even weren't sure if we were going to walk a little bit to like 5:30 is like prime traffic time, so we were like,
Hmm.
maybe we should kill some time. But I don't know, something in us like immediately was like, nah, we're gonna just like right now get in this cab, and the skies opened up,
Yeah.
which was crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
As part of that little drive, we got to see some really cool, I don't know, I think the shops on Fifth Avenue are just
Oh, yeah.
super
I
cool,
love
the
them.
fancy stores, and even just some of like the
Hmm.
giant cool vibrant
Yeah.
stores, which was interesting.
And in that area, it's just so busy. So that the energy is so different there compared to what it is, West
Yeah,
Village or
that's
even up by the
true.
Met or whatever. The energy is different everywhere.
There's a
And
different like hustle bustle there, it
definitely,
feels
yeah.
like, which is
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good point. There really is a distinct
Hmm.
energy or vibe, not just aesthetic, not just like, oh, it looks
Yeah.
different,
Not
which
just
is true
that.
too, but like it's more than that. It's so I encourage you, even if you're not going to go to New York and you're in your own city, like maybe just start opening up and
Hmm.
noticing, like, is there a different energy, like, I don't know, by your kid's school versus like by the
Yeah.
downtown, or yeah,
Hmm.
that was really interesting too. That's a really good
Hmm.
point.
Yeah.
Um, Again, our cab driver was nice, but not super happy about his day. So
Hmm.
felt bad for him. And then we went back to the hotel after that,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And we chilled
Oh,
for a while.
yeah, we did chill for a
Hmm.
while because we weren't sure what we were going to do. And then we
Hmm.
decided to have a late dinner, right?
Yeah.
That's when we went to
Hmm.
that. So, in the meantime, what I forgot that had been kind of lightly happening was we I'm not super in my DMs and Instagram. A lot of creepy stuff
Oh,
happens in
yeah.
there and I don't go over there. But because I had been at the event and I was being tagged by some old friends and things, and I was wanting to make sure I like followed them, I was checking, and there was someone in my DMs that was like putting on the boy diva, a matter of pride, I think is his handle for the business,
Hmm.
and was putting on this drag wrestling show, which I just thought was the most cool thing. I'd love to do anything
Hmm.
to support our LGBTQ siblings. And it just so happens to coincide with the time I'm going to be in Vegas next month, which you guys know from last week. And I was like, oh, I got to get back to this guy. I'll answer him or whatever. And at the same time, one of the wrestlers that I had been friends with, um, messaged me and was like, oh, my friend's also been messaging you. And I was like, what? So how
Yeah.
crazy that they knew each other. She was like, oh, it's his birthday. We're in Brooklyn. If you guys are up for it, like, we'd love to meet you guys later. And we just kind of, I mean, people say things and it's like, oh yeah, let's just
Hmm.
see. I think even they had messaged us the day before and it was like, okay, let's just
Yeah.
see what happens. It's going to be his birthday. We all know how birthdays go, especially when you're
Right.
young. He's a lot younger than me. So it's like, oh, we're just like, whatever happens. And I think the time we went to dinner was like 8:30 or something.
8:30.
It was
Yeah.
kind of late.
Yeah.
And she had
Hmm.
texted saying like, oh, we'd still like to come up later. And I'm an old lady. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know. But I just kind of was like, well, we just sat down to dinner, which, by the way, Rhonda had found like an amazing Italian place that was
Yeah.
just around the corner from our
So good. It
hotel,
was so good.
which
Hmm.
was not on my nerdy list. And so it was like
Hmm.
a pleasant surprise. I had eggplant parm, which was amazing. And you had some kind of shrimp
I had a shrimp
scampi or
scampi
something,
pasta, something or other. It was
which
delicious.
looked so good. So
Hmm.
definitely scope my social media for gluten free Rex in New York. Yeah, and it actually was also partnered with that Friedman's Place. So it was just around the
Hmm.
corner, super close, super easy to get to. We thought it might be like further away. And then we were like, oh my gosh,
No,
this is
it's so
just,
close.
yeah, the directions were like so close. So then we took our food to go. We got dessert to go. We were going to be like ladies and go back to the room and eat our dessert in our underpants in bed
Watch
and
Friends.
just like, yeah, watch something and relax. And just as we're getting onto the elevator at the hotel to be like, oh, okay, we're done for the day, I
Hmm.
get the text message that was like, we're headed your
We're
way
on
from
our way.
Brooklyn
We're on the
on the
subway.
subway. Yeah, exactly.
We just kind of
And
looked at each other like, okay.
I think I might have even been like, I don't want to, just because that's
Hmm.
my natural Capricorn side is
Yeah.
like wants to like, I don't want to go. I'm a little bit resistant. But I was like, well, they're definitely coming all the way up here just to have a cocktail with us or just to hang out a little bit or a mocktail
Hmm.
or whatever we were going to get into. And okay, so I was a little worried if you were going to feel okay. So I was like, are
Hmm.
you feeling okay about this? And you said
Well,
yes.
yeah, I wasn't gonna just leave you hanging. I'm like, I'm down. Whatever you want to do, I'm along for the ride. So,
So we
I'm
go
easy.
up. You kind of popped out into the balcony to call home and just check in because
Hmm.
I'd been monopolizing your whole day. And I was like sent on the mission of like, because then I got another text while you were out there that was like, oh, where should we go? I don't know where
Hmm.
we should go.
Hmm.
I don't know anything.
Oh.
So immediately, like any person would do, I throw into Google like bar open near me. Like what?
Hmm.
Because if they're going to come all the way up, like we might as well try to be near us. So I had found one place that I thought would be cooler for them that was open supposed to be 24 hours. And then I looked and actually it was closed down
Yeah.
permanently. So then I had found this other place, Oscar Wilde. They said fine. And then you came in and I was like, okay, how's this place? And you were like, oh my gosh, I've been seeing that place. I wanted to go there. So another
Yeah.
weird
Another
synchronicity.
weird. Yeah. Yeah.
That was weird. And again, we thought that was going to be further. And when we pulled it up on maps, when we were outside, we didn't even take a copy of the map because it was like, oh, 230 feet down on the left. Like it was just right,
Yeah.
like
Right
literally
there.
right there, which was so close.
Yeah.
So we popped in there. We didn't really drink them, but we did get a free round of shots for everyone, which was kind
Yeah.
of just like a cool, fun thing. They
Yeah.
came, we hung out with them. Um, we, without going too much into it, we both did completely separately end up feeling some loved ones present that we,
Yes.
like we always say, it's not
Mhm.
super appropriate to just like launch into readings at
Right.
bars
Hmm.
and things. But we did compare notes later and both were kind of aware
Hmm.
of some things, which
Hmm.
is always fun and interesting.
Right.
Um, for the city that never sleeps, some things were certainly closing down a little earlier than I expected.
I know. I mean, we weren't
Was
there very
weekdays
long, and
though,
they're
I
like,
guess.
okay, it's time to go.
Yeah, we had been there maybe
Hmm.
like an hour and a half and they were closing down. So we weren't done hanging out. They had suggested let's go somewhere else. And then a whole new part of our adventure
Yeah.
unfolded, which I think sometimes it's just saying yes to things, right? And then you never
Yeah,
know
and it
what
was
you're going to
fun.
get
Yeah.
into. Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. One of our friends is same as us, was like bar near me that's open. We
Hmm.
end up just around the corner again, like everything's just around the corner, it seems like, in Koreatown
Koreatown.
at
Hmm.
1 o'clock in the morning. And it's a little, I mean, some of the buildings seem more like, is this a, it's just you walk in and there's an elevator and you're either getting in
Yeah.
the
Think of
elevator to see
this.
what's upstairs or not.
Yeah. Literally, we are in this teeny tiny elevator heading up to like the sixth floor. I'm like, where are we going at 1 o'clock in the morning in this random building?
So crazy.
Yeah.
And then I mean, thank God he knew what he was doing. He's a local. He's from
Yeah.
there, from New York, from
He's
Brooklyn.
great. Yeah.
And we get in this elevator. It takes us to the eighth floor, which was
Oh, the
crazy.
eighth. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a different one that was in the sixth floor that we tried to go to,
That's
and then the
right.
elevator, was crazy. The elevator wouldn't go. We didn't know
Hmm.
why it wouldn't go because some people just got out of it. And the other person with us says, I think this is a sign that we shouldn't go here.
And
And
we're
then we
like, okay,
didn't.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we went to a different place.
Hmm.
It opens up to this like neon lights to, I
Yeah.
swear we're transported to like Korea into a full ping pong bar. I didn't even know
Yeah.
this was
It's
a
like
thing.
neon, black light, ping pong bar everywhere.
A couple cool video
Yeah. We're
games
like,
happening.
so cool.
Yeah,
Nobody there. Like
all of these
maybe
will be
3
online, so
people
make sure
there.
you see
Hmm.
the posts because it's just like I've never seen something like this. It kind of
Hmm.
almost looked like those retro bowling alley lighting,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like ping pong theme. Like there's a giant clawfoot bathtub in the middle of the room filled with ping pong balls, which was like
Mm-hmm.
just so strange and
Mm-hmm.
cool. So we spent a couple more hours talking and sharing
Yeah.
and getting to know new
Know each other.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, getting to know our new friends, old friends, new friends, at this bizarre, incredibly cool, random ping pong bar in
Hidden ping pong
Koreatown.
bar.
The
Yeah.
things you get into after 1 a.m. We shut that place down, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they were going to go back on the subway together, and they kind of dropped us at our hotel on the way,
Mm-hmm.
and we called it a night again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, besides that, we stayed up late talking until
Oh
4 o'clock in the
yes.
morning.
Oh yeah, trying to like super
Yeah.
sleuth some things with our
Mm-hmm.
intuition and with our mind power. And I think
Yeah.
you even said I fell asleep talking, where I just like stopped talking and fell asleep because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
I even in the morning was like, did I fall asleep in the middle of what I was talking? I don't even
I
remember
like
falling
looked
asleep.
over, you were talking, and then I like looked over and you were asleep, and I'm like, oh, she's asleep.
Hanging on to the
So,
last minute.
hmm
I did have a couple cocktails, so I think that probably.
yeah.
I'm not the biggest. I'm a little bit of a
hmm
lightweight. I don't drink very often, so I think that really sent me into
hmm
dreamy land.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, you had some kind of cool dream experiences on the trip,
I
which
did.
was
I had
really
a
interesting.
very cool. The last 2 nights we were there, I had a dream, and my dad showed up in the dream. Just to let me know he was
So
there.
cool.
That was really cool. Oh, the hand thing.
I've never seen that happen on here. But for those of you listening, a bunch of balloons just went up
Just went up.
across
I think it's
Rhonda's
a thing,
screen. I think that's
right?
only on Zoom. This we're on Riverside FM. I've never seen that on this platform
Okay.
before, and now we can't make it do
Well,
it again. So,
sorry.
and you also did
Interesting.
from your dad see lots of
hmm
his name hellos from,
Oh, I did see lots of
yeah.
hellos from him. And then the mother of a friend of mine on the second night, she
So
showed up,
cool.
and very, very cool, especially back to back like that. I mean, it happens, but not back to back. And it was just really great. Um, Also, too, like the signs, I always say that the license plate speaks to me, like the
Yeah.
universe talks to me through license
Oh my
plates and
gosh,
through
yeah.
numbers. I mean, you were definitely getting some numbers from some loved ones on the other
Yeah, some
side.
hellos
The
and some
11s,
yeah,
11
I
11s.
have
Mm-hmm.
someone that does 11s, and then I have a couple other
Mm-hmm.
like my little eights, and you had some like
Mm-hmm.
you have some super specific
So,
numbers too.
yeah, like on our way into the city, randomly on this side, I can send you the picture, but if
Oh
you want to
yeah, that's
post it,
right. I
but
remember.
randomly there was a graffiti so big and blue, and it was 429, which is my birthday and my sign from the universe. This usually that I'm on the right path, or that there's, like I'm in alignment. Um, there was a couple license plates I took pictures of
Yeah.
that had 429 on it. I saw some fours on another one. My mother-in-law on the other side, I always see her birthday, and I know that's a hello from her, and I saw
Yeah.
that.
We saw
Yeah, it was
lots of
really
names.
cool.
We
hmm
had some interesting names popping up in
Names,
weird places. I was hearing the
definitely.
name of someone that says hello to me
hmm
by getting their kind of unusual name across my path a few rows ahead
hmm
of us at the end of a flight when we did not hear this name the entire flight.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end, we
hmm
were paying attention. So there was some definite
Yeah.
interesting woo woo.
And then let me just say this one last thing about
Yeah.
numbers while we're on it. So for months, like since the middle of summer, I have seen the number 644 like nonstop. Like it's 429, or I mean it's just crazy. And 644. I have no idea what it means. And then I had to renew my passport. I renewed my passport, got a new one in, and on the passport, my part of a small portion of the very long number was 64429. So it was 644 and then 429. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, interesting. This must have something to do with traveling. I'm seeing 644 because of something to do with traveling. And it was really cool because at the end of the night, I think for our new friend's birthday, like I think you paid for the first round of drinks, and then I
Mm-hmm.
paid for the second round.
Which I worried
And
about too, because I even asked you about it because I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, I
yeah,
shouldn't have paid for those drinks because you weren't even
no, no.
drinking.
Well, I
So
mean, now I
no, but
mean,
that's why we talked about it because I was like,
yeah.
oh, I brought it
Well,
up to
I
you
just,
even because you weren't
yeah,
going to say anything. I don't think.
yeah. And when the total was 644 It was 6444. So it was that 644 again, and then also the
Yeah.
444, which is my sign for my brother. And I was like, so interesting that I just randomly chose to pay for the drinks, and that's what we ended the night with, was those numbers. So
Yeah.
very interesting to
So
me.
it was
So
kind of perfect
hmm
and interesting
yeah,
and
another synchronicity in some way.
totally. Yeah, and then the next day we just went to the airport super early
Hmm
because there's all the TSA chaos.
mm
And what was crazy was you made a video for us of our TSA line. We got through
hmm
reasonably
We did like an
fast
hour.
and yeah,
Hmm
not too bad. And I had looked at another creator that's more newsy that I follow that was in a different terminal at the same time, and their line was like hours and hours
Oh,
long. So we just happened to be in a good terminal, I guess.
mm-hmm.
So we got lucky there,
Yeah.
and even getting on our flight, everything
hmm
was
Yeah.
good and smooth sailing. I will tell you, just the residual energy from us being together those days. I came back. I mean, yeah, of course, tired and
hmm
kind of getting restored on my sleep, which we checked in yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But I've just been so inspired. I mean, you
Me
always
too.
inspire me, and I
Hmm
always really love
The
our time
same.
together. And I'll thank you. But I've just been, I don't know. I really needed that. I really feel like it filled up
Yeah.
my cup in a special way. I love psychic friends. That's the other thing. We have lots of little moments of like, I call it psychic
hmm
friends, where it's like, I was just thinking something and you said it, or vice versa, or we just
Vice
was
versa.
talking
Yeah.
about something and like the LL Cool J thing. And then we go around, an hour
hmm
later and there it is. Or it was
Yeah.
like that the whole
The
time,
whole time.
thing after thing. Even like so there was like a jewelry thing in that little thing that something
Hmm
happened to. It just seemed like thing after thing was like, oh my gosh, we
hmm
just were talking about that. We kept seeing Ruby, the name Ruby too, which is kind
Oh.
of something significant that we've been kind of talking about. So,
Hmm
I mean, just so many little things that it was like, we probably should have been making notes the whole time, but we didn't
I
even. I
know.
just asked you yesterday, like, hey, oh my gosh, we should pop on and talk about like our trip as mediums, because
Yeah.
we do sometimes have these weird energetic connections that
hmm
I don't know if it's
And
weird or
I
not,
mean,
but
I feel like we could talk about it forever, but
yeah.
this is like the highlight reel because a lot of stuff, went down. It's like really magical, and a lot of conversations and synchronicities and how things time up, and like, where you were at in your life, and, in the past versus
Yeah.
me, and so many, so many things resonate for each of us. And it's really easy to conversate with somebody who our energies match so well,
Yeah.
hmm
Well, that's a really good point too, because we spend so much concentrated time together, we really got into the
hmm
thick of like our lives. And we do
Yeah,
have so many parallel,
so
obviously
much.
our
Yeah.
own experiences
hmm
different, but like
Yeah.
so many parallel emotions or things happen at certain times in our
Yeah.
life. And it's funny, those that know me do know I kind of keep like a pretty tight circle of people around me. I don't have
hmm
I like my
Same.
friend group very small. And the first day that we met, I told you like, oh, we're going to be friends. And I know a lot of people say that, but
Mhm.
for me with Rhonda, I don't know, maybe you guys can let me know if you've ever felt this way. You just sometimes meet those people
You
that you're
just
like, oh,
know.
you're one of my people.
Hmm
And I don't know how this is going to happen, but like we're meant to meet and we're meant to like, I just felt a connection with you
hmm
that's not typical
Same.
for me.
Yeah,
To the
same.
point where I remember, I think I've said this to you, even like I was afraid I like almost freaked you out a little bit, like a stalker crazy
No,
person, because
not
we
at
had
all.
we didn't know each other at all, and I just was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
you're my friend, like we're gonna be
hmm
friends. So
hmm
I really just, I don't know, I just feel like we had a great
Well,
time.
me too. We did definitely had a great time, and not to dive too much into this because it's a whole other thing, but
Yeah.
my brother connected us. I feel confident that my brother connected us, and I totally
Yeah.
trust him, and I know that it's divine for us to be friends, and it's really
Yeah.
very cool. So,
Well, and for all the mediums and sensitives and highly
mhm.
sensitive, intuitive folks out there, it really is a special connection when you find
It is.
your people, your soul group, when you can really share about things and talk on a
Hmm
deeper level. I've been super
hmm
honored to be friends with you through parts of your mediumship
Yeah,
journey and to have you alongside me on parts of my mediumship journey, because we
yeah.
really can, I don't know, just maybe offer each other perspective or support
hmm
or it's I think just like anything, any very specific, unique hobby
hmm
or passion that people have in common, I'm sure there's a layer of connection that's
True.
not typical. So I'm super grateful for you. And God, we could
I'm super
travel
grateful too. I
together.
say it all the time how grateful I am to have you
Hmm.
through this journey. Like I don't even know it would look so much different if it wasn't for you and if I hadn't been guided to you. And so I'm always so grateful
Well, I
for our
wish these
friendship.
kind of friendships for everyone because
Me
it really
too. Me
is.
too.
And like to
Hmm.
have someone, for me to have someone that I can travel with is like a whole
Yeah.
nother level. Cause I don't believe everyone, listen, I have some people
Travels
I
well.
love a lot, but
Me too.
I don't think everyone's meant to travel
Me
together.
too. I
And
agree.
we, even just the fact that we can kind of sync up
Hmm.
and be on the same page about like, oh, slow morning, late
Yeah,
dinner, like it just is like, I don't know, a cool extra
it
layer.
is.
And I think that we're going to be quite the dynamic duo in many
Hmm.
ways into the future. So,
Yeah.
so look for us. And
Yes.
again, I'll link everything in the show notes. But not only is Rhonda my friend and travel companion, but she's a wonderful medium, and she does lots of
Thank
readings
you.
on TikTok. You do like you have your schedule up there. You do
Hmm.
readings, not just I mean you do tarot, but also mediumship. So
Hmm.
highly recommend. I don't recommend a lot of mediums, as you guys
Thank
know.
you.
I trust Rhonda
Mm.
to travel with me, which is if anyone that knows me knows it's like a really, really big deal to
Yeah.
say. So, yeah, definitely. You can find her through my pages too, and you'll see
Hmm.
her on many of my posts from this trip. All of the posts from the trip you're
Yeah.
in or on or took the photo or are laced
Yeah.
into it. So I'm super grateful, and thanks for being
Me
willing to
too.
come on and share. And before you guys blow me up in the emails, I will have Rhonda on in a different episode in the future where I will like really just ask her all about her mediumship journey and her story
Yeah.
and how she came to it and all of that. When she's feeling ready for that, that will be in the
Hmm.
future. But I just really am grateful you're willing to come on and kind
Me
of download
too.
about our time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
It
for
was fun
being
then. It's
here.
fun now. I could talk about it forever. So
Well, and as always, thank you for shining your light. And you made quite an impression on everyone that we
oh
met. I've heard all the feedback about you. So everyone loved you.
well, ditto.
Well, thank you for being here with us today for that conversation. I hope that you really had a good time with us talking about our shenanigans that we got up to. And I will have more things rolling out from that trip. I talked about the friend that we met up with and the drag wrestling show that I've been invited to. I'm going to have that beautiful soul on the podcast soon as well. If you're looking for Rhonda, you can find her at rhondathorpe.com. That is THORPE. I will also link everything in the show notes, and my website is listed there as well. I am about to have a free masterclass coming up on Monday, April 6th. It's going to be live. It is going to be 1 hour only, and I hope you can make it. It's going to be so exciting. It will be about 3 red flags and 5 questions to ask yourself to find out whether you are compromising or whether you are abandoning yourself. And as sensitives, I really feel like this is something we all deeply need to understand about ourselves as we move through the world. So hopefully you have enjoyed this conversation about the energy of New York and all of our synchronicities. And again, I know we just scratched the surface of this. We could talk for hours. I'm so grateful to Rhonda for being willing to share with all of you and also to share this wonderful trip and time with me. I think it has even more deeply strengthened our bond as mediums and as friends. And she's such an inspiring person in my life. I always love bouncing ideas off of her. We have some ideas for some potential events together in the future that we're really excited about. And we really did we are mediums, and it is intrinsically such a part of who we are that it's almost impossible for us to be together and not talk about quote unquote work stuff because we love what we do and it's our passion and it's such a personal deep part of us that when you find that friend who just gets it and who you're in sync with in that way, it really is such a magical experience. And I wish all of you at least one friend in your life like that. So a big thank you to Rhonda for being here. Again, get on my social media. Joyfulmedium.com is the website. I'm at Joyful Medium on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and Joy Giovanni Psychic Medium on YouTube if you want to see the paintings that we were talking about. I also on my socials will be having details about the Met and what we saw and the places we stayed and all the things that we've talked about. Even our Andy Cohen celebrity sighting is on my socials, and Rhonda's tagged there as well, so you can very easily find her. Big hugs to all of you for being here, and please let me know if there are any topics that you are wanting to hear about, or any sort of vibes of guests, types of guests that you are wanting me to bring on. I do really vet the guests heavily, so I want to bring you trustworthy, beautiful souls. Thank you each for being here. You mean so much to me, and I love it when you give feedback through the emails. And if you don't mind, if you would like and share this episode wherever you're listening to it, that always helps the pod. Big hugs, lots of love. Bye for now. Until next time, from inside Spirit Speakeasy.